Cleveland Shedeur. How Pilar Sanders' fiery message and NFL's silent signal are turning the Browns' QB battle upside down. The NFL is full of surprises, but nothing this season has come with more layers, emotion, and off-field drama than the unfolding story of Shedeur Sanders. It's a saga that stretches far beyond practice fields and preseason projections. One where family legacy, media perception, and quiet defiance have formed a combustible cocktail. And at the center of it all, a mother's pride, a quarterback's hunger, and a city still unsure what to do with him. Welcome to the world of Cleveland Shedeur. A draft day snub that sparked a firestorm. It started with a fall, not on the field, but in the draft room. Shedeur Sanders, the high-profile son of NFL legend and Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, was projected by many to be a second- or third-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. But when his name wasn't called until the 5th round, 144th overall, the media had a field day. Pundits claimed it was a reality check, pointing to supposed attitude concerns and questioning his readiness for the pro game. But to those closest to him, especially his mother, Pilar Sanders, it felt like something else. A systematic downplay of a young black quarterback who just happened to be Deion Sanders' son. Pilar wasn't going to let that narrative go unchecked. Just hours after the draft, she took to social media, posting a family photo that radiated pride. But it was her caption that made waves. Confident ladies produce confident babies. No apologies. It wasn't just a celebration. It was defiance. A bold counterattack to a sports media landscape that often chooses its heroes and villains with subtle, and sometimes not so subtle bias. And then came the real statement. Not from ESPN or NFL Network, but from Pilar herself. She doubled down, resharing a viral reel that compared the media treatment of Shedeur Sanders to what future draft prospect Arch Manning, the nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning, is likely to receive. Next year, when Arch Manning comes out, compare how they talk about his family as opposed to the way they talk about Shedeur's. The reel declared. Pilar's repost wasn't just about a quarterback. It was about systemic bias, about narratives shaped by legacy, race, and familiarity. It was about a mother watching her son be reduced to a headline while others were lifted into stardom with less production. The NFL breaks its silence. Sort of. For weeks, the NFL itself remained silent on Shedeur Sanders. No video highlights, no hype clips, no acknowledgement of his presence in the most chaotic quarterback room in the league, Cleveland. But then something changed. In a quiet but pointed moment, the NFL's official social media account posted a photo dump of Shedeur fully geared up in Browns attire, helmet, cleats, and football in hand. The caption, short, sweet, and piercing, Cleveland Shedeur Fire. Just 2 words, but they echoed louder than a press conference. It didn't take Pilar long to pounce. She reposted the NFL's story to her Instagram and added her own signature, #Cleveland Shedeur. That was it. 2 words soaked in defiance, love, and prophetic energy. It wasn't just an endorsement. It was a warning shot to everyone doubting her son. Shedeur isn't just passing through Cleveland. He's going to leave a mark. The Browns' QB conundrum. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the Browns' quarterback situation. Easily one of the most convoluted in the NFL. At the top of the depth chart sits Joe Flacco, Super Bowl MVP, veteran leader, and the definition of safe hands. Behind him, Kenny Pickett, once viewed as the Steelers' future, now trying to resurrect his reputation. Then there's Dillon Gabriel, the rookie from Oregon with 6 years of college football under his belt and stats that would make any coach raise an eyebrow. And finally, there's Shedeur, the 4th name, the forgotten one. Despite throwing for over 14,000 yards in college, with 134 touchdowns and a 70% completion rate, all under intense national scrutiny, he's rarely mentioned in Cleveland media as anything more than depth. He's labeled as QB4, a trade chip, or a practice squad hopeful. Even more telling, rumors now swirl that the Browns are considering a trade for Kirk Cousins to reunite him with head coach Kevin Stefanski, who coached Cousins during their days in Minnesota. The message is clear. They want experience. Shedeur represents risk. But what if the risk is exactly what Cleveland needs? Inside the locker room, the Shedeur factor. While front office executives and talking heads continue to talk past Shedeur Sanders, those inside the Browns facility are seeing something different, something real, something intangible. Rookie wide receiver Luke Floria offered a peek behind the curtain during a recent episode of the Honor the Land podcast. According to him, Shedeur isn't just surviving the locker room, he's energizing it. Sanders likes to have fun out there. That's the best I can describe it, Floria said. He comes on the field, thinking of celebrations to do when we score, crazy celebrations. That's awesome. It lightens up the mood. Far from being the brooding or egotistical figure some predicted, Shedeur has become a source of joy and freedom for his teammates. When others are worrying about playbooks and reps, he's asking them what dance they want to do in the end zone. It definitely loosens you up and makes you play a little freer, Floria added. It's a rare gift for a rookie, especially a fifth-rounder, to command that kind of emotional leadership. But it's not just the rookies who are noticing. Browns wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, one of the most polished route runners in the NFL, gave his own nod of approval. I think he's a great young quarterback. Excited to have him on our team. That's not a courtesy quote. That's locker room buy-in. Fighting perception with production. It's worth remembering that Shedeur's entire career has been shaped by scrutiny. From the moment he committed to play under his father at Jackson State, the haters came running. They said it was nepotism. They said he'd crumble. Then he lit up the field with NFL-level decision-making, anticipation throws, and elite pocket presence. When he transferred to Colorado, the noise only got louder. Could he do it in the Power 5? Would he fold under pressure? The result? More elite numbers, more fourth-quarter comebacks, and more maturity than most seniors in the country. And still a fifth-round pick. So it's no surprise that the Shedeur we see in Cleveland isn't asking for handouts. He's training in the rain alone. He's lifting teammates' spirits. He's laughing in the face of pressure. And he's not talking, he's preparing. Pilar Sanders' social media posts might be loud, but Shedeur's game is louder. What happens if the Browns stumble? Cleveland's quarterback strategy is clearly geared toward safety and control. Flacco offers consistency. Pickett offers experience. Gabriel offers potential. But if any of those three falter early, and let's be honest, Flacco is aging, Pickett is unproven, and Gabriel is raw, there's going to be a media storm. And right at the center will be Shedeur Sanders. If the Browns start 1-3, the chance will begin. If Flacco throws a couple of picks in a primetime game, #Cleveland Shedeur will start trending. Not because of media hype, but because Shedeur has already laid the groundwork for belief. He's already winning in the spaces that matter. The locker room, the sideline, and in Pilar's eyes, the family war room. A mother's message that won't fade. Pilar Sanders' role in this story cannot be overstated. She's not just a mom cheering from the bleachers. She's a brand builder, a protector, a strategist. And she's already seen how cruel the media can be, not just to her son, but to any black athlete who doesn't fit the traditional mold. Her two-word Instagram story, #Cleveland Shedeur, may seem small, but in this media age, it's a declaration. It says, we're here, we're not sorry, and we're not leaving. And that message, intentionally or not, is forcing the NFL to react. Whether Shedeur Sanders becomes the starter in Week 1 or Week 10 doesn't change the fact that something has shifted. The days of quietly ignoring him are over. The days of pretending he's a backup storyline are gone. Because when moms tweet, quarterbacks listen. And when Pilar posts, the NFL feels it. The takeaway: don't count him out. Football is a game of inches. But for Shedeur Sanders, every inch is uphill. He's been drafted late, doubted early, sidelined by narratives. And yet, he's still here, smiling, dancing, studying, waiting.